You think you can touch me? I own this city. I own the police. I practically own this courthouse. Those words just came out of the mouth of Mayor Richard Donovan, standing 15 feet in front of me in Providence Municipal Court. I've been a judge for decades. I've seen angry defendants. I've seen entitled millionaires. But I've never seen someone in public office threaten me in my own courtroom. My name is Judge Frank Caprio, and today I'm about to teach a powerful man that no one, absolutely no one, is above the law. If you believe justice should be equal for everyone, you'll want to see what happens next. Let me take you back to how this whole thing started. It was a Tuesday morning, around 10:15. The courtroom was packed. We had 20 cases on the docket, traffic violations mostly, parking tickets, the usual stuff that keeps a municipal court busy. My bailiff, Officer Torres, stood up and called the next case. Case 2026 TR 004521, the City of Providence versus Mayor Richard Donovan, reckless driving, failure to stop for a pedestrian, and leaving the scene of an accident. The room went silent. You could hear people shifting in their seats. A few gasps. Someone whispered, "Did he just say the mayor?" I looked up from my paperwork. "Mayor Donovan, please step forward." The courtroom doors opened. In walked Richard Donovan, 52 years old, wearing a navy blue suit that probably cost more than most people make in a month. His silver hair was perfectly styled, gold Rolex on his wrist, expensive Italian leather shoes that clicked loudly on the tile floor. But it wasn't his clothes that caught my attention. It was his face. He had this smirk, this look that said he thought this whole thing was a joke. Before we get to him, let me tell you about the victim. Her name was Maria Gonzalez. She's 67 years old. She works at the Providence Public Library, shelving books and helping kids with their homework. She's been doing that job for 23 years. Maria was standing at the side of the courtroom, her left arm in a sling. She had a bruise on her cheek that was turning from purple to yellow. She was wearing her library uniform, a simple blue polo shirt with the library logo. Her hands were shaking slightly as she held a folder with her medical papers. I knew Maria. She'd come to court a few months ago to contest a parking ticket that wasn't her fault. I dismissed it. She thanked me 3 times and brought me homemade cookies the next week. That's the kind of person she is. Now she was here because the mayor had hit her with his car and drove away. Mayor Donovan walked to the defendant's table. He didn't have a lawyer with him, which surprised me. Most people in his position would bring the best attorney money could buy. "Good morning, Mayor Donovan," I said, keeping my voice professional and calm. "You understand the charges against you?" He shrugged. Actually shrugged. "I understand there's been a misunderstanding, Your Honor." "A misunderstanding," I repeated. "Mrs. Gonzalez, can you please come forward and tell me what happened?" Maria stepped forward carefully, favoring her left side. "Your Honor, I was crossing Maple Street on October 15th, around 6:30 in the evening. I was in the crosswalk. The light said walk. I was halfway across when a black Mercedes came around the corner fast, too fast. It hit me on my left side and knocked me down." Her voice cracked a little. "I hit the pavement hard. My arm, my hip, my face. The car stopped for maybe 3 seconds. I looked up. I saw the driver. It was him." She pointed at Mayor Donovan. "Then he drove away. He just left me there." The gallery was completely quiet. I could see people leaning forward, listening to every word. Mayor Donovan laughed, actually laughed out loud. "Your Honor, this woman is clearly confused. I wasn't even in that area that night." I felt my jaw tighten, but I kept my voice steady. "Mayor Donovan, this is a courtroom. We treat everyone here with respect. That includes Mrs. Gonzalez. Do you understand?" He rolled his eyes. Sure. Whatever you say." The disrespect was already starting, and we were only 5 minutes into the hearing. "Mrs. Gonzalez," I said, "do you have any evidence to support your statement?" "Yes, Your Honor." She handed a folder to Officer Torres, who brought it to me. Inside were 3 things: medical records from Rhode Island Hospital showing a fractured arm, bruised ribs, and facial contusions. Treatment cost, $8,400. The second page was a repair bill. Apparently, the impact broke her glasses. The third item was a receipt showing she missed 2 weeks of work without pay because she couldn't lift books with a broken arm. This shows your injuries, Mrs. Gonzalez, and I'm very sorry this happened to you. But how do we know it was Mayor Donovan's vehicle? Officer Torres spoke up. Your Honor, we have traffic camera footage. Now Mayor Donovan's face changed. The smirk faded a little. Play it, I said. The courtroom screen lit up with black and white footage. There was Maple Street, there was the crosswalk. At 6:32 p.m., according to the timestamp, Maria entered the crosswalk. 3 seconds later, a black Mercedes S-Class came around the corner at what looked like 35 or 40 miles per hour in a 25 zone. The car hit Maria. You could see her body spin and fall. The Mercedes stopped. Brake lights on. Then, after exactly 4 seconds, it drove away. The license plate was perfectly visible. R.I. Mayor 1, vanity plates. He actually had vanity plates that said Mayor 1. The courtroom erupted in whispers. I banged my gavel once. Order. I looked at Mayor Donovan. That's your vehicle, isn't it? Lots of black Mercedes in Providence, Your Honor. With the license plate Mayor 1? He straightened his tie. Someone could have stolen my plates. Did you report your plates stolen? Silence. Did you report this accident to police? More silence. Mayor Donovan, I'm going to ask you directly. Were you driving that car on October 15th at 6:32 p.m.? He leaned on the table casually, like we were having coffee. You know what, Judge? I'm a very busy man. I have meetings all day, council sessions, budget reviews. I don't remember every single moment of every single day. This isn't every single moment. This is the moment you hit a 67-year-old woman with your car and drove away. Allegedly, he said, smiling. That's when things started to escalate. Your Honor, Officer Torres said, we have more evidence. Go ahead. We pulled the mayor's phone records. At 6:34 p.m., 2 minutes after the accident, he made a phone call to Police Chief Raymond Burke. The call lasted 42 seconds. I looked at the mayor. What did you discuss with the police chief 2 minutes after hitting Mrs. Gonzalez? That's private. Not in this courtroom, it isn't. Officer Torres, do we have the contents of that call? Yes, Your Honor. Chief Burke provided the recording when we subpoenaed his phone records. Mayor Donovan's face went red. You can't do that. That's a violation of my... Your privacy ends where the law begins, Mayor. Play the recording. The courtroom speakers crackled. Then we heard Mayor Donovan's voice, slightly panicked. Ray, it's me. I just had a little fender bender on Maple Street. Some old lady walked into the street. Not my fault. I need you to make this go away. Bury the report. We clear? A pause. Then Police Chief Burke's voice. Rick, I can't just bury a hit and run. You can, and you will. Remember who signs your budget, Ray. Remember who hired you. Make it go away. The call ended. The courtroom exploded. People were talking over each other. Someone shouted, That's corruption! I banged my gavel 3 times. Order! Order in this court! Mayor Donovan's face was now bright red, but not from embarrassment, from anger. That recording is illegal, he shouted. It's a legal subpoena, Mayor, and it proves you knew about the accident, you knew you were at fault, and you tried to use your position to cover it up. I want a lawyer. You had the right to bring a lawyer. You chose not to. We're continuing. He pointed his finger at me, actually pointed at me like I was a child. You're making a big mistake, Caprio. Do you know who I am? I know exactly who you are. You're a defendant in my courtroom who just admitted on tape that you tried to obstruct justice. I admitted nothing. Mayor Donovan, lower your voice. I will not lower my voice. You're twisting everything. That call was taken out of context. What context makes make it go away sound appropriate? He slammed his hand on the table. You don't understand how things work. I run this city. I make decisions that affect thousands of people every day. So I made a phone call. So what? So what? I repeated. So you hit an innocent woman, broke her arm, left her bleeding on the street, and then tried to use your power to avoid consequences. That's what. He stepped closer to the bench. Too close. Officer Torres moved toward him, but I raised my hand slightly. I wanted to hear what he would say next. Judge Caprio, he said, his voice low and threatening, you need to think very carefully about what you're doing right now. I have friends, important friends, the city council, the governor's office, people who can make your life very difficult. Is that a threat, Mayor? It's a fact. The room was so quiet I could hear the clock on the wall ticking. Officer Torres, do we have anything else? Yes, Your Honor, text messages, sent from Mayor Donovan's phone to 3 city council members the night after the accident. Read them. Officer Torres pulled out printed screenshots. First text, to Councilman James Peterson. Need you to block any investigation into traffic incident. I'll explain later. You owe me. Second text, to Councilwoman Sandra Mills. Media might sniff around a Maple Street situation. Shut it down. Remember the zoning favor. Third text, to Councilman Michael Torres. No relation to me, Your Honor. Judge Caprio might be a problem. Time to look into his campaign donors. Find dirt. My heart was beating hard now, but I kept my face neutral. Mayor Donovan laughed bitterly. You can't use private text messages in court. They were subpoenaed legally as part of a criminal investigation, Mayor. Criminal? This is a traffic case. It stopped being just a traffic case when you tried to bribe a police chief and intimidate city officials. He was breathing hard now. His perfect hair was falling onto his forehead. The gold Rolex glinted as he clenched his fists. You know what your problem is, Caprio? He said. You think you're some kind of hero, the nice judge, the people's judge. You let people cry on camera, and you forgive their parking tickets, and everyone thinks you're a saint. I didn't respond. I just watched him. But you're not a saint. You're just a judge in a small municipal court. You handle parking tickets and traffic violations. You're nobody. I'm the mayor. I have real power. I make real decisions. Is that what you tell yourself? I asked quietly. That stopped him for a second. What? Is that what you tell yourself to justify leaving a 67-year-old woman bleeding in the street? That you're important? That you have real power? Because from where I'm sitting, Mayor, you look like a coward. His face twisted. How dare you? How dare I? How dare you? You hit Maria Gonzalez with your car. You saw her on the ground. And instead of helping her, instead of calling an ambulance, instead of doing the right thing, you drove away. You called your friends. You tried to cover it up. You threatened people. And now you stand in my courtroom and tell me you have power? I have more power than you'll ever have, old man. The room gasped. Officer Torres stepped forward. Mayor Donovan, you need to— Shut up, the mayor yelled at him. Then he turned back to me. You want to know the truth, Judge? Fine. Yes, I hit her. Yes, I drove away. And you know why? Because I had a city council meeting in 20 minutes, and I couldn't be late. She was fine. She was walking. She was alive. What's a broken arm compared to a multi-million-dollar development deal? Complete silence. 10 full seconds of absolute silence. Then the courtroom exploded. People were standing up. Someone was crying. I heard someone shout, "You're a monster!" Officer Torres was yelling for order. 2 more bailiffs rushed in from the back. I banged my gavel 5 times. Everyone sit down now! The room slowly quieted. I looked at Mayor Donovan. He was standing there, chest heaving, realizing what he'd just said. You think you can touch me? He said, his voice rising again. I own this city. I own the police. I practically own this courthouse. There it was, the line that would define everything that came next. I stood up slowly. I'm not a tall man. I'm not intimidating physically. But in that moment, I felt 10 feet tall. Mayor Donovan, I said, and my voice carried through the entire courtroom. I've been a judge in this city for over 30 years. I've seen thousands of people stand where you're standing. Rich people, poor people, young people, old people, police officers, teachers, doctors, criminals. I paused. And do you know what I've learned? Power is temporary. Money is temporary. Titles are temporary. But character is forever. He tried to interrupt, but I held up my hand. You stood in my courtroom today and proved that you have no character. You admitted to hitting an innocent woman. You admitted to fleeing the scene. You tried to bribe a police chief. You threatened city officials. You tried to intimidate me. I looked directly into his eyes. Richard Donovan, let me be very clear with you. You don't own this city. The people own this city. You don't own the police. They serve the people. And you definitely don't own this courthouse. This courthouse belongs to justice. And today, justice is going to be served. You can't, he started. Yes, I can, and I will. I looked at my notes, then back at him. You make $140,000 a year as mayor, correct? That's public record, so what? So here's what's going to happen. For the hit-and-run charge, you're fined $50,000. He laughed. I'll write a check right now. I'm not finished. For attempting to bribe a police official, you're fined an additional $75,000. The smile faded. For witness intimidation and abuse of power, another $50,000. That's $175,000 total, due within 30 days. If you don't pay, we'll seize your assets. You can't. Furthermore, your driver's license is suspended for 2 years. You will not drive any vehicle during that time. If you're caught driving, you'll face criminal charges. How am I supposed to get to work? The bus, like Maria Gonzalez, takes every day because she can't afford a car. Someone in the gallery clapped. I didn't acknowledge it, but I didn't stop it either. You will also complete 500 hours of community service, not in some easy office. You'll serve those hours at the Providence Community Center, serving meals to homeless veterans every Saturday and Sunday for the next year. 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You'll wear an apron, you'll clean tables, you'll wash dishes, you'll serve people who need help, and you'll be supervised by Community Service Director Linda Hayes, who will report directly to this court every month. Mayor Donovan's face was pale now. Additionally, you'll write a handwritten apology to Maria Gonzalez, not typed, not from your secretary. You will write it, 300 words minimum, explaining what you did wrong and why it was wrong. You'll read it out loud to her in this courtroom in 2 weeks. I will not, and you'll create and record a public service announcement about hit-and-run accidents. It'll be 1 minute long. It'll air on local TV and radio for 6 months, at your expense, and you'll give 3 talks at Providence high schools about accountability and the importance of doing the right thing, all approved by this court. He was shaking with rage. Finally, I'm ordering you to pay full restitution to Maria Gonzalez. That's $8,400 in medical bills, you $200 for lost wages, $300 for her broken glasses, and $15,000 in pain and suffering. Total, $24,900, due immediately. This is insane. No, Mayor Donovan, this is justice. He took 3 steps toward my bench. You're going to regret this, old man. When I get out of here, I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to call every reporter in this state. I'm going to call the governor. I'm going to have you removed from this bench. Are you threatening me again? I'm promising you. I looked at Officer Torres. Bailiff, Mayor Richard Donovan is in contempt of court. Take him into custody. The mayor's eyes went wide. What? You can't? No! Officer Torres and the 2 other bailiffs moved forward. Sir, put your hands behind your back. Get away from me. Sir, don't make this harder. Mayor Donovan tried to push past them. He actually swung at Officer Torres. He missed, but the attempt was enough. All 3 bailiffs grabbed him. There was a struggle. His expensive suit jacket ripped. The gold Rolex scraped against the handcuffs as they clicked into place. You can't do this. I'm the mayor. You were the mayor, I said. Right now, you're just another defendant who broke the law. You'll spend the next 72 hours in the Providence County Jail for contempt of court. After that, we'll have a review hearing to see if you've learned anything. They started walking him toward the door. He was still yelling, This isn't over, Caprio. You hear me? This isn't over. The doors closed behind him. The courtroom was completely silent. I looked at Maria Gonzalez. She had tears running down her face. Mrs. Gonzalez, I'm deeply sorry for what you went through. No one should have to experience that. The city failed you. The system failed you. But today I hope you see that justice still exists. She nodded, unable to speak. You're free to go. The restitution check will be issued within 7 business days. She whispered, Thank you, Your Honor. I watched her leave, still holding her broken arm carefully. That was 3 months ago. You might wonder what happened next. Let me tell you. Mayor Richard Donovan spent 72 hours in jail. When he came back for his review hearing, he was different, quieter. His lawyer, he finally hired one, tried to appeal everything, but the state attorney general's office had launched a full corruption investigation. They found more, so much more. Bribes, kickbacks, campaign finance violations. He resigned as mayor 2 weeks later. The city council voted unanimously to accept his resignation. Criminal charges are still pending. He's currently serving his community service hours at the Providence Community Center. I've heard from Linda Hayes that he shows up on time now, doesn't complain, actually talks to the veterans he serves. One of them is teaching him humility. It's working slowly. He paid Maria Gonzalez in full. She used the money to take her first vacation in 10 years. She went to visit her daughter in California. As for me, well, I'm still here, still on the bench, still doing what I've always done, treating everyone the same, no matter who they are or how much power they think they have. The governor called me a week after the hearing. She said, Judge Caprio, thank you for reminding us that justice means justice for everyone. That meant something to me. But you know what meant more? 2 days ago, I was walking through the courthouse parking lot. A young woman stopped me. She said, Judge Caprio, I saw what you did with the mayor. My dad's a construction worker. He's been fighting a false citation for 6 months because he couldn't afford a lawyer. After watching your hearing, he came back to court. He told the truth. The judge believed him. He won. Thank you for showing us that the system can work. That's why I do this job. Not for the headlines, not for the viral videos, but for that construction worker, for Maria Gonzalez, for everyone who walks into a courtroom scared and alone, wondering if anyone will listen. I sit here in this old courthouse, and I think about something my father told me when I was young. He said, Frankie, justice isn't about being powerful. It's about being right. And when you're right, you stand up, even if you're standing alone. I wasn't alone that day. I had the law. I had the truth. And I had the courage to treat a powerful man exactly like I'd treat anyone else. Because in my courtroom, there are no mayors, no millionaires, no special treatment. There's just right and wrong. And on that Tuesday morning, when Mayor Richard Donovan walked in wearing his expensive suit and his gold Rolex, thinking he owned everything, he learned what I've always known. Justice doesn't care who you are. It only cares what you did. And if you do wrong, you'll answer for it. In my courtroom, everyone answers for it. That's the promise I made to this city 30 years ago, and it's the promise I'll keep until the day I retire.